of people that were unable to bring, as we know, the Korban Pesach when it came to Yud Daled Nisan. They were Tomei. They were impure. They were unable to bring the Heilige Korban Pesach when it came to the Yontiv of Pesach. So they came to Moshe Rabbeinu, as the Torah tells us very clearly. They come to Moshe Rabbeinu and say, Rebbe, Lama Nigora, why should we lose out? Why should we be any worse? Because we were Tomei, we were spiritually impure, so we can't bring the Korban Pesach? We couldn't bring it then, we want to bring it now. It's not fair. This is an unfair situation. We want to bring the Korban Pesach. We were Tomei, it's not our fault. What do you want from us? Lama Nigora. That's what the Torah tells us. Moshe Rabbeinu takes the complaint very seriously, and what he does is he says, I'm going to take this with the higher authorities. I'm taking this up with the Rabbeinu Shalom. Moshe Rabbeinu goes to Rabbeinu Shalom, what am I meant to do? It's a great excuse. It's a great taina, it's a great complaint. Lama Nigora, why should I be any worse? The Rabbeinu Shalom takes it very seriously and says, you're absolutely right. They should instead bring the Korban Pesach on what we call Pesach Sheini, which is today, Yud Daled. They have an opportunity to bring it again. Now, Rabbi Say, let's stop for a moment and understand. This is all what I'm telling you now, what the Torah tells us very clearly. What is going on over here? Lama Nigora, what is this complaint of why should I lose That's life. I'll give you an example. Imagine, Mitzvah Hashem, Be'ez Hashem, Be'etabis Mani, you guys get married, and your wife is expecting B'shad Toiva Mitzlachas, and you're excited. Well, you're excited, right? You're excited to have your first child. Very, very exciting thing to do. Exciting about the idea of bringing children into the world. But one of the other things you're excited about is the simcha. It's a big simcha when a person has a baby. He has a baby boy. It's a big simcha. He's got Sham Zacha. He's got a Bris Milah. He's got a Pidyon Ben if it's the first one, not a Levi, not a C-section, whatever. A baby girl, okay, a kiddush, nice. This guy has a baby girl. He comes to Moshe Rabbeinu. He comes to Rabbeinu Shalom and says, excuse me, Lama Nigora, I wanted to make a Bris Milah. So you think the Rabbeinu Shalom will say, that's so amazing. That's amazing that you really want to. You know what? We'll figure out a mahala that you can make it. What? What does this mean? They were Tomei. That's life. If you're spiritually impure when the Korban Pesach was meant to be brought, you can't bring it. You're going to come later and you're going to say, why should I lose out? We don't have that when any other time. There's no other time in the year that we have a Metzias where the Rabbeinu Shalom says, you missed out. There's another opportunity. There's many things that we would like to do that we never got the opportunity to do. And the Rabbeinu Shalom never told us, we'll give you another chance. So why over here specifically does the Torah tell us that the Rabbeinu Shalom gave those people that had the excuse, that had a complaint, that they wanted a Makayim this mitzvah, that they were literally unable to be Makayim? So generally we've spoken in the past about this idea, the idea of a second chance, another opportunity. Baruch Hashem, this year I found a nice, beautiful idea from the writings of Rav Moshe Wolfson Zatzal. Beautiful, beautiful idea specifically about this question that we're dealing with today. And the idea is like this. What is the Korban Pesach? What was the Korban Pesach at the time of Pesach? And the Maisa comes out that the Yontiv of Pesach especially is one of the most chomedik Yomim Tovim. Right? It's the Yontiv that has with it so many mitzvahs, 64 mitzvahs, Leil HaSeder. There's no other night of the year, no other day of the year that carries with it so many mitzvahs. The Issa of eating chometz is so chomo. People are checking the house for weeks and weeks in advance, every nook and cranny, because they're worried that Efsha, Mashu of chometz. And then you've got Korban Pesach. Now, if a person neglects to bring a Korban Pesach, he's chayiv koris. That's very chomo. There's no other yontiv that carries with it the penalty, the punishment of koris. In fact, not only that, taking it a step further, the Korban Pesach is a mitzvah saseh. It's a positive commandment. There is no other, almost, mitzvah saseh that when you neglect the mitzvah saseh, you get koris for it, except the Korban Pesach and one other. the only other one that you neglect the mitzvahs asay that you get kores is of course bris milah. Now think for a moment, bris milah. I get bris milah, I get it. Bris milah is, without bris milah you're not a yid. Right? One of the most and final acts that we do on a Jewish child to bring him in lachnisa bebisa shel Avram Avinu is a bris milah. So when a person neglects doing a bris milah, he's neglecting that connection to Yiddishkeit, that becoming a yid. So I get it. You missed bris milah, chayiv kores. I do understand that. But korban Pesach, what's the shaychus? What's the connection? Why do they carry the same penalty? The only other mitzvah say that neglecting it carries with it kores. And the answer obviously has to be that the mitzvah of korban Pesach is comparable to bris milah, because the mitzvah of korban Pesach was when we became a yid. It was our inauguration of becoming a Jewish nation. Pesach in general is the moedik yontiv, that we become a nation. We become Bonim Atem, Hashem Elokeichem, we become the children of the Rabbeinu Shalom. We are a Jewish nation, we are a Yid. That's Korban Pesach Mimela. When a person neglects doing a Korban Pesach, he gets kores, just like Bris Milah. Rabbi said, let's go back to our kasha. Let's go back to the kasha. Why is it that this is the only time that they complained that we wanted to do this and we couldn't because we were spiritually withheld from doing it? It wasn't even our fault. We did nothing wrong. That the Rabbeinu Shalom over here comes along and says, you know what? No problem. I'll give you another opportunity. I'll be koveya a day specifically, which is today, Pesach Sheini, to mekayim that which you could not mekayim before that. And you know what the answer is? The answer is because these Yidden came along and they complained in the following way. They said, Pesach isn't just the yontiv of a celebration for a pure person, for a person that's tahar. Pesach is the celebration of someone that's becoming a Yid. He understands, I'm a chelik of the Yiddish nation. I'm a child of the Rabbeinu Shalom. I am the child of Hashem. That's what Pesach is. Why should, they said, spiritual contamination, tumah, step in the way, prevent me from becoming a Yid, from connection with my Father in heaven, from the Rabbeinu Shalom? That's not fair. It celebrates the essence of who we really are. Why should tumah be able to stop that? Why should tumah come in between me and my connection to the Rabbeinu Shalom? And that's what the Rabbeinu Shalom says. You know something? You're 100% right. I'm going to be kaveir a day specifically to show the olam that there's no such thing as a defect. There's no such thing as anything or anything that you do that will exclude you from the Jewish nation, that will exclude you of being a child of the Rabbeinu Shalom. That's why the Rabbeinu Shalom gave us Pesach Sheini, because it's an opportunity to realize that even if a person was Tomei, B'shas Pesach, Pesach is a yontiv, Korban Pesach is the mitzvah that binds us with the Rabbeinu Shalom, makes us into a Yid. There's no tumah that can ever come in the path of that. There is nothing that will prevent a person from becoming close to Rabbeinu Shalom and recognizing his status as a child of the Melech Malchei Amlochim. So today is the day that the Rabbeinu Shalom made a day specifically to show that there's no Jew out there. There doesn't exist a Yid. Never. Whatever he's done, whatever he's gone through, that he's excluded from the machaneh, he's excluded from the camp. He's someone, no, you're Tomei, not Negei, you can't come close, chas v'shalom. Even someone that was Tomei, something even by mistake. Maybe he went through things that weren't even his issue. Maybe he grew up in situations that were beyond his control. Maybe the trauma that he went through as a child, maybe the abuse that he accepted or went through with his family, with his rebbeim, with other people that he may have gone through. All of these things were beyond his control. What do you want from me? You know what happened to me when I was 7 years old? You know what happened to me when I was 12, 14, 16? It's not my fault. I have no shaykhs to this. If you would know what I've done, if you would know what I've seen, what I've said, what I've heard, what I've done, you'll understand that I have no shaykhs to this. Today the Rebbeinu Shalom says no. Today on Pesach Sheini, the Rebbeinu Shalom says, even if you were Tomei and it was beyond your control and something happened to get you spiritually contaminated, that will never stop you from coming close. That will never stop you from recognizing who you are and where you come from. I want to do something that I don't think we've ever done here before, but I think it's very famous, and I'm sure everyone here knows it. But sometimes it's the simple, famous actions that sometimes drive the point down and drive the point in as much as possible. You know, you take a crisp, fresh $100 bill. I can imagine that everyone would like this $100 bill. I think this is a very nice $100 bill. I think Avada, we could buy a lot of sforim with this $100 bill. I think we could buy a lot of food to make brachas on with this $100 bill. There's a lot that we could do with this $100 bill. It's a beautiful $100 bill, right? Beautiful. Now, if I take it and I fold it a couple of times like this, right? And I say, well, would you still like this $100 bill? I don't think anyone's going to say, oh, it's folded. Nah, this doesn't look so nice. I don't want it. I think everybody still wants the $100 bill. Okay, I think so. I'm assuming so. If I take it, for example, and I just crumple it up into a ball, like, there we are. Anybody still want that 100? I hope they're not going to, find me in America for some American law of doing this against the country. I don't know. But I think everybody will still say that they would like this $100 bill. This is a wonderful $100 bill. How many mitzvahs that we could do with it? If we would take it on the floor and we would step on it a few times, roll it around a little bit in the dirt, right? Pick it up. Anybody still want it? I think everybody still wants the $100 bill. What's the message, Rabbi Isai? The message is the intrinsic value that we have, the neshama shenasata bi tohirihi, that the Rebbeinu Shalom gave us, no matter how much it was bent over, folded, crumpled, stepped on, smushed with the dirt, it's still a beautiful $100 bill. It is still a beautiful neshama. And therefore, that's what Pesach Sheini tells us. The Rechaim HaKodesh says a moyudik azach. The Rechaim HaKodesh says that people don't like bad smells. Nobody likes a bad smell. People run away from a bad smell. They distance themselves from a bad smell. You ever noticed, and those of you who are listening who are parents know this is true, a parent of a child, a young baby, you ever heard a parent that says when their child is dirty, smells, for whatever reason, for whatever situation, get out of here. I don't want to see you, I don't want to know you, I don't want to touch you, I don't want to get near you. A parent may want to change the child's diaper, may want to bath the child, that could be. But a parent will give the child a hug. He'll give him kisses and kisses and kisses, because this is my child. Says the Rechaim HaKodesh. The Rebbeinu Shalom chose every one of us as his nation, as his child. We may have been folded and crumpled and, smushed a little bit, maybe even stepped on by others at some point during our lives. But ultimately, the Rebbeinu Shalom says, you may smell, that's fine. I hug you, I kiss you, I love you, because you're one of mine. I want to tell one last story about I said before we end. Moedik HaMaisa. The Heilige Chofetz Chaim, Schus and Yugen Alain, he walks in to a Jewish inn. And he walks into a little inn, a kosher inn, people buy over their kosher food. And he sees in the corner, he sees a huge guy, this big, Russian guy. This was in Russia. And he sees this guy cursing and he's shouting and he's drunk and so the Chofetz Chaim starts to go over to him. Maybe he could talk to him, maybe he could help him. And the innkeeper says, Rabbi, don't go anywhere near him. So the Chofetz Chaim says, why? No, he's a lost case, forget about him. Why? What happened to him? 25 years ago, he was taken into the Russian army. Since then, oh my gosh, he's a Yid, but no shaykhs, he doesn't keep anything. He has no shaykhs to Yiddishkeit. He's drunk every night. He comes in, he curses. I can't throw him out. Nothing. Rebbe, don't waste your time. The Chofetz Chaim says, leave it to me. Chofetz Chaim goes over to him, extends his hand, and says, Shalom Aleichem, my name is Yisrael Meir, what's your name? Zladimir! The guy screams, what do you want from me? Big Russian guy. So the Chofetz Chaim looks at him in the eye, and he says, is it really true? So the guy says, is what true? Is it really true that you were in the army, the Russian army 25 years ago? Yeah. Wow, said the Chofetz Chaim. I'm jealous of your place in Olam Haba. He looked at him and said, huh? I'm jealous of your place. 25 years ago, you were in the Russian army. I can't imagine what you went through. And you're coming to a Jewish inn to buy kosher food? Do you know that when you leave this world, you're going to go straight to the highest place? I'm jealous of your Mokim and Olam Haba, 25 years in the Russian army, and you're still eating kosher food. Wow, that's amazing. Rabbi say, true story. This man started to bawl. He started to cry like a baby. No one had ever talked to him like that before. He started to cry and cry. After a few minutes, he regained his composure. Chofetz Chaim said, listen, I'm so jealous of you. It's amazing what you're doing. And when you leave this world, straight to the highest place. But I just feel bad for you, because you're not going to understand what they're saying up there. You're not going to know what's going on in Shemayim. You're not going to understand the language. Perhaps if you learn a few words of Torah, you'll understand a little bit of the language that's going on up there. So the guy thinks about it, says, I think you're right. That's a great idea. And he starts to learn a bit of Torah. And push comes to shove, day after day, hour after hour, he becomes a Fromer Yid. Because the Chofetz Chaim saw inside him the beauty of a Yid. He may be dirty, he may be contaminated, he may have done things, he may have gone through things, but he's a Yid. Rabbi said today is the day that the Rebbeinu Shalom tells every single one of us, all the tumah, all the dirt, all the trauma, whatever it is that you went through in your life, it's all irrelevant. Because the Rebbeinu Shalom says you have Pesach Sheini to come close. You got Pesach Sheini to show the day that the Rebbeinu Shalom says, Afal Pikein, whatever you went through, I'm going to hug you, I'm going to kiss you. This is the day that we bring our Korban Pesach and say, Rebbeinu Shalom, we still want that connection to you, and we recognize that we are your child. Have an amazing day.